Evening, friends. But you guys know me, I normally like to be a little more prepared, but sometimes it's just great to chill after a long day next to your digital fire on these damp evenings. We had woke up to rain this morning, which is very odd. But you guys asked for it, so you get Tuesday Market Update After Dark. That's good. So, I was out looking at properties this weekend with a buyer client, and of late I've had mostly listings. And I tell you what right now, being a listing agent, being a selling agent, being a seller right now is fantastic because everyone's clamoring for the homes. There's just way more buyers than there are homes. But bummer, my client missed out. We had a pretty good offer, but got beat out by somebody that was waiving appraisal contingency, which I understand that one. That one makes sense in certain situations. But they even waived the inspection. I'm not a broker, but I think that my broker would probably whack me over the head if I did that. Because there's a lot of stuff that can go wrong when you're not doing an inspection period. So I hope that trend changed a little bit. And I ran into someone who was mentioning that the kind of the frenzy that's happening just trying to get houses right now is reminds them of 2006, 2007 before the crash. Difference now versus back then is now the buyers are real buyers. It's real demand. Back then it was a lot of investors, a lot of speculators that were just trying to pick up houses, hold them for a little bit, and sell them when they made a bunch of money. Now it's people that are looking to buy to move into a house. And our lack of inventory right now is not necessarily because we have so many less sellers. I was actually just looking at the numbers, and we had way more buyers than we did last year. We'd have way more buyers last year than we had the previous year. So it's not just a lack of houses. There's a lot of people moving to the state of Arizona. That's great for us that live here. It definitely makes it hard when you're trying to buy something. But it's pretty crazy out there. So anyway, so I do have a buyer client I'm working with that's actively looking, but it's gonna be tough. But we're gonna find him something. I'll definitely let you guys know when we do. I mean, it was tough this summer, and I got a client in the house earlier this summer that needed some closing costs covered. So there's definitely options out there. It's just sometimes you got to work for it. But had a great day today, aside from forgetting that it was Tuesday. Felt a little bit like a Monday. And then had some friends over for dinner tonight, so that was a lot of fun. We made pizzas. I've been venturing into the world of homemade pizzas. But I see Todd's on. Todd, hope you enjoyed dinner tonight. Hope you enjoy that pork that you're gonna have over the next few days. Don't eat it all in one sitting. That's all I gotta say. Anyway, so I like to leave things a little more chill on the After Dark edition. The bottom line, the gist of all this is that sellers, if you can sell, it is such a good time. And oh yes, and both kids were in school today. That was also another blessing. Thank you, Rachel. That was wonderful. But we swapped out our two children for my youngest niece. No, not my youngest. She's not my youngest anymore. I got two baby nieces. Anyway, my 6-year-old niece. My wife and I watched her today, so she came and hung out literally all day. So we swapped 2 kids for 1. I mean, I guess it's still pretty good. 2 for 1, not too bad. She's almost as chatty as my kids, though. Yeah, she's as chatty as my kids. But anyway, so, I was thinking, I've got lots of buyers in my database that are just kind of like, oh, I'm kind of casually looking. Bottom line is, there's no such thing as casually looking right now. Due to the fact that houses are barely on the market 2 or 3 days. Mine that's closing, was supposed to close yesterday, is now going to close tomorrow. That one was on the market 10 hours before we sold it. And I actually have 2 new listings coming to the market at the end of this month. And I suspect we'll have them last the weekend so people can see them, but by the end of the weekend, we're going to have plenty of offers. Oh, you thought I was having a adult beverage? If you know me, you know I drink 2 things. Water, because it's in Diet Dr. Pepper and Diet Dr. Pepper. Anyway, no, there's no such thing as casually looking for a house right now. I had an old home theater client that was calling me. He's like, hey, if you ever come across a house that would be a good investment, let me know and I'll look into it. Nope, that doesn't work right now. I told him, if you're serious about wanting to get something, you need to get pre-approved. You need to get everything ready to go, because the minute you see something that might be a good value, you have to jump on it right away. So I've actually thought about emailing a lot of my database and being like, unless you're really serious and ready to do something right away, you're just kind of wasting your time, because stuff does move so quick. And even in the higher price points, you can see a few of the $750, $1 million, $1 million plus. You'll see some of those sit a little while. It's usually because they're overpriced or something else is going on with them. But there was a $3 million house in Stellar Air Park that sold $3 million that went under contract recently. It was only on the market 30 days or something like that. So it's nuts out there. Couple things. We saw some value. I work a lot with Chicago Title, and oh, by the way, title company matters. I'll share this another time because I'm in the midst of it right now. You can't just pick whoever for title. I mean, you can, but anyway, I'll tell you more once the transaction is complete and I can share more. A lot of times I just can't share it till the transaction's done because I just need to not divulge. Honey, yeah, no, it's not gonna happen. I don't have $1 million because the cheapest, actually, no, there are some $500,000 houses in there, but they're pretty small. But I don't know that I want to back up to an airport. I mean, it's a small airport. Not a lot of people going out of it. But if you guys aren't familiar, Stellar Air Park is in Chandler, South Chandler, south of Chandler Boulevard, between McClintock and Rural, if I remember correctly. I think that's pretty close to it. But if you're ever driving on the South 202 freeway, the Santan freeway, and you're looking at all the lights and all of a sudden they dip down for 2 or 3 of them, that's right where Stellar Air Park is, because that's where people land. But it's pretty cool because people have these garages. This $3 million house had an aircraft hangar that was on the back side of the property. And I was actually looking at it for a client because they were looking for a house with a large garage. He's got a car collection and likes to work on his cars. So I was looking at an aircraft hangar as a potential option because I think it'll hold 16 cars or something like that. Anyway, pretty cool. There's actually also another air park out in Queen Creek called Pegasus. It's a similar situation to Stellar where it's a private airstrip, basically. Um, they do have some like hangars at Stellar where people that don't live in the neighborhood can fly out. Also, there's some businesses on the east side of the airstrip that have hangar access as well. One of those commercial places is PRS, which is a property management company that I refer a lot of folks to. They've got an aircraft hangar that they do like classes and parties in and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. But yeah, there are a lot of just interesting kind of properties around town that if you don't look or you don't know what you're looking for, you could miss it. Like, did you guys know there's a lake in South Gilbert? Yeah, you'd never notice it even driving right past it. South of Seville, so along Riggs, east of Power. Yeah, east of Power. You'll drive past a gated community on the south side of the road, and the houses look kind of like up above a little bit, and it's because there's a lake. Google map it. It's crazy. What's happened, BTG? Joining in the After Dark Market Update. BTG is one of our lovely educators, so thank you for everything that you do for our children. And I'm really glad my kids are back in school. It'll be nice to have a house with just me and my wife in it. It's gonna be glorious. Anyway. What was I saying? I think I got sidetracked. I got distracted by airports and weird little communities. Yeah, so there's a lot to love about Arizona. I mean, I posted about Sunset earlier this week. There's so much. Don't jump ahead, please. What am I jumping ahead? Oh, being rid of kids? No, they're just at school right now. I'm not looking to be an empty nester just yet. I still got a few more years. Let's see. Oh, anyway, so why? Why do we have all this inventory problem? Because we're not building enough. Yeah, I just meant during school, honey. I'm not ready for them to leave yet. No, I'm not ready for them to leave yet. But I will give you a little parenting tip. You're not raising children. You're raising adults that are going to spend more of their life out of your house than in it. So do what you can to get them prepared. Because they're going to spend a lot more time outside of the house, outside of your home, than they will inside of it. So I look at each of the milestones, like when my son got his license. He turned 17 this December. I look at those as like, all right, we're still moving forward. He still plays games, but I guess most adults play games. I play games. I got a steering wheel like to do racing simulators. Anyway, whatever. Okay. What was I saying? Oh, not only is our climate fantastic, we have some of the best sunsets in the world, but our economy in Arizona is just so good right now. So many job opportunities. Shoot, I mean, if you're in a trade like electrician, plumbing, framing, any kind of construction type trade, we are in desperate need. So it's hilarious because we need to build more houses for the people that are coming here, but contractors are coming here because there's lots of work, creating more need for housing. It's a wonderful cycle. Let's be clear. Yeah, if you're trying to buy a house, it's tough out there right now. But it's because of so much good stuff that's happening in our state, and all this in the midst of this pandemic, and numbers being in a state that is worse than they've ever been. Our economy is still churning along. That's without without our tourism, like, that's a big deal, especially coming up here in the next month or two. If you've ever done any outdoor activities like hiking Camelback during March, it's a friggin' zoo. It's insane. So, for those of us that live in Arizona, there are a lot of opportunities. And one of the things that I love best about what I do and what I get to do is I get to help people put themselves in a better position financially. There is tons of statistics that people who own homes, on average, earn more and have more net worth than people who just rent. And it's not to say that, like, just the fact of owning a home it's kind of like, it's a combination of things, because I think that when you own, it changes your mindset a little bit, and I think that mindset has a lot to do with success and moving forward in career and your general level of happiness and joy. And it's not just a financial thing, but also a security thing. There's just a whole bunch of stuff that's wrapped up in owning a home. And just from a financial standpoint, we got a breakdown. Oh, I remember what I was talking about. My people at Chicago Title love the escrow folks at Chicago Title, specifically Lelania and Shauna. Shauna shared with us some numbers for Maricopa County from 2018, 19, and 20, and then projected numbers for 2021. And the average sale price was $245 in 2018. Do you know what the projected average sale price is for 2021? $345. $100,000 in just a few years. Now, I don't know about you. I'm not a great saver. Never have been. Hoping. I'm trying to be better about it. But show me a savings plan for somebody on an average income that is going to net them an extra $100,000 in 4 years. That's what owning a home has done. And do you know what? People were saying how expensive houses were in 2018. It's all relative. It's what we're used to. It's whatever we're seeing now and what we remember something being as. I've got a bunch of California buyers that are looking, and one of them was like, "Oh, this house is cheap. It's only 1.7 million." Because where she's from, where she's at, a house half the quality would be like $2.5 million. So, it's all relative, right? And it's all in where you're at right now. And I have some folks, I look at a lot of people that follow me, that are younger folks that aren't in a position to buy yet. One of them was like, "Oh, Jeremy, you're making me want to buy a house. Now, when I make only $20,000 a year." No, not right now. But look toward the future. Home ownership is a huge deal and a big thing for your financial stability, your peace of mind, your security levels, your mindset. I mean, there's so much that comes along with it. And I love being able to help people do that. And specifically one of my buyers earlier this summer, he came from a family, grew up his entire life living in a rented home. And he is early 20s, and he was like, I need to make this happen. I want to make this happen. And he's like, I want to own a house. And I wanted to help him make that happen. And so we partnered him with a great lender who had some options for him. And for him, he really needed to make sure he got roommates. He couldn't just do it straight on his own. But we found a loan option that worked for him, that made dollars and cents. Never mind, I'm going to sound stupid saying this. but it worked from a financial standpoint for him. But then when he got a couple roommates, he almost had his entire mortgage covered with those 2 roommates. So he's able to stock away some money, single guy. I actually think he's got a girlfriend now, but single guy, is able to cover most of his mortgage with 2 roommates. So he can stock away some money for any improvements or unknown things that kind of come up in the house. But then he's got some money stocked away. So when he's ready to take the plunge with a gal, get married and start a family, he's in a really great financial position to afford to do that on his own. I mean, I love that. That's just fantastic that I can help someone achieve those kind of things, like get them a solution where their mortgage is paid for with a couple roommates or almost completely paid for. It's just fantastic, and he's being set up so that he can provide a home, safety, security for his future wife and future kids. And this is a guy that spent his entire life in rented houses. Like, that's awesome. That's so awesome. And he bought 6 months ago. In another 6 months, I guarantee you his house is going to be worth at least $20,000 or $30,000 more than it was. And I guarantee you, without that, he never would have saved up $20,000, $30,000. So, and last thing I want to talk about with buyers right now is with a lot of these houses, they're selling for over asking. Many of them doing appraisal waivers, and sometimes it feels a little bit like you're overpaying for a house. And you might be, but you also might not, because here's how this works. The over asking offers of today become the comps of tomorrow. What I mean by that is that, yeah, you might pay an extra $20,000 over what it's asking or what the comps support today. But if you don't buy that house, if you wait a month or two, that house becomes the comp or the comparable property. And comp is a real estate word, but that house becomes the comp. So you're either paying the extra up front now or you're paying it later on down the road. So it's a balance. If you find the perfect house, if you find the house that checks off all those boxes, it may be worth it to pay a little bit more than it might appraise for right now. Now, you've got to be in the right financial situation where you have the cash to come up with some of that deficit or all of that deficit. But just know that all of these houses that are selling right now for $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 over asking, those are becoming the comps of tomorrow. And that's what's going to drive the value of these homes up. So in another 3-4 months, these houses are going to be legitimately comping and appraising at the levels that they're buying them now. So I don't love it. I don't love feeling like you're overpaying for a house. I don't love it when my clients feel like they're overpaying for a house. But if you need a place to live, you're either going to pay that extra now or you're going to pay it later. So that, I think, is the biggest kind of question you have to answer when you're buying a house right now. Is in a lot of cases, in most cases, you're going to have to offer reasonably or substantially over asking to have an opportunity at the home. I'm obviously going to do my best to mitigate that as much as I can to make sure you're not ridiculously overpaying for a home. But if you don't pony up a little bit now, you're going to be paying it later. Because like I said, the overpriced, I'm gonna clip this little shot. This is gonna be a little clip that I'm gonna use on my stuff. The over asking offers of today will become the comps of tomorrow. And that's how prices get driven up. And they're being driven up by legitimate demand right now. So, but we're still in the affordable ranges because we've got this great interest rate. Anyway, I've taken long enough, 26 minutes. I love you guys. I love doing what I do. I love sharing this information with you guys. I love talking with some of you about real estate. Guess what? I also love talking about other stuff. I also all sorts of stuff I can talk about. If you want to talk about real estate, I'll talk about real estate with you. But honestly, if you want to talk about something else, talk about mountain biking. I love doing that. If you want to talk about electronics, they just had CES. There's some really awesome TVs that are coming out. They're pretty cool. You want to talk about faith, religion, music? Let's talk about it. You want to talk about politics? Maybe we don't want to talk about politics. No, I will. Bottom line is, I love having conversations with people. I love having conversations with all of you out here on the interwebs, whether it's in person, maybe at church, maybe something else, DMing a little bit, something like that. But yeah, if you ever have a question, don't hesitate to reach out. Even if you think it's a dumb question, I'm all ears. I have a breadth of knowledge that's about this deep. I know a little bit about a lot of stuff, and I just love chatting. Anyway, that's gonna be about it for tonight. I'm gonna finish off this well-aged scotch. Listen to some smooth jazz and watch this fire crackle away. Guys, have a great evening. We'll see you next week on the Tuesday Market Update. Good night, guys.